business practices.
Hold on, what realtors were you talking about?
Certain ones of
unethical?
unethical business practice.
Okay, so what's up? This is episode 29?
It is 29, so next week is 30.
29?
Hey, that's
you guys are
very
watching
good.
the girl?
That's
good
29.
That's the only math you're
29
getting
plus
from me
1
today.
is 30.
Good job, girl.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
So today we are talking about what...
I feel like you're yelling.
Well, we just got that little mic this time, so I'll just talk real quietly.
You should be familiar with Little.
Ah!
Littleton.
Wow.
Burn!
Oh, all right, we'll see you guys next week.
That was fun.
That was good.
Well,
Respect. That was good.
thanks.
Okay, so today we are talking
I
about
need some high fives on that.
what Kat and Ryan tried to
I
talk
got you.
about last
I
week.
got you.
Oh, we were too loud for our girlfriend.
John Michael high.
What Ryan and Kat tried to go ahead and talk about last week, but we were talking about the market. So we're giving you a market update because it matters. That vein in your head's starting to pop out. Are you embarrassed?
We
or
talked
angry?
about it
No,
last
but we
week.
were
We didn't
just
try to
like
talk about it last week.
You guys kind of started to intro it. It was a little inappropriate.
Okay, well,
But anyways, so this week we're going to talk about that. We're going to tell you kind of what's going on with the market, what we're seeing just from having, this is so corny, like boots on the ground, just from being involved in the market, what is going on. So Kat, would you like to start us off?
I told you I wasn't giving numbers. You were doing
You don't
that.
have to give us numbers.
The
So what are you
mar-
seeing? What are you feeling
So I'm busy.
over in the VA world? Good job.
No, so, but for me, it's because a lot of my clients, they've got their orders and they're coming in this summer.
What are orders? No one knows what that means.
They're relocating to Tinker, so our PCS orders. That means permanent change of station. And a lot of times people get these orders that say, hey, your next assignment is here, and it's typically about 90 to 120 days out. So I'm seeing a lot more buyers that are coming here in the next couple of months. So, yeah.
Can they be like, no, I'm good?
Yes, I can, but they either...
Are they then AWOL?
No, you're AWOL when you go missing and you're active
it's
duty,
so
but if
do
you
that.
say, no, I'm not going, then they may say, okay, you're no longer in the service, let's go ahead and... Yeah, but that's for another conversation. So what do you see
Cool,
guys
that's
seeing in the
next
market?
week.
What's happening in Oklahoma?
So you've got a lot of buyers. What are you seeing?
Listings.
Yeah, you
Okay.
do have a lot of listings. I saw quite a few. Are they going
stuff.
somewhere? Are they upping their game or are they leaving?
Most of them are upping, moving up.
Yeah.
A couple
Wow.
of them are leaving.
Moving on up.
We do have, I will say, and maybe it's just coincidence for me, but several oil and gas guys moving out of state is what I've been,
Out of state?
yeah.
To Texas.
I've been seeing lately. Yep.
Better in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have heard that.
Oil
Get it
and gas
together,
has been soft here
Chesapeake.
for quite a while, but I think if they have another option, they're getting out of Oklahoma because they don't feel secure.
Yeah. I've got one of my builders also does oil and gas, and they're out of Texas because it's a better market there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is, and that's such a big indicator here of what's
Yeah.
going on because this state's so reliant on oil and gas and those jobs. So that is
Yeah.
something that's interesting. But we're also seeing a lot of jobs moving here, and so that's good. There's different businesses. You're seeing. I feel like there's new stuff I'm seeing like on Facebook every day with new restaurants, new clubs, new.
Comedy clubs?
Yeah, I went to the
Yeah.
comedy club the other night. Sat front row for Jay Farrow.
Okay,
good.
so I want to...
Good job, Jay.
You guys talk about the gas and oil market, but for me, that's not my market. Like my average sale is about $200,000. So I feel like if you're in gas and oil, you're buying $500,000 homes. Like,
Not always.
I mean, is that...
honestly, that's probably what it was 7-8 years ago, and then they took a drop, and
Okay.
they were all trying to unload those houses and buy less expensive houses, and now trying to get out of state. Or, I mean, there are some that are still sticking around here and moving up and buying bigger homes again, just because everything kind of stabilized a
Okay.
little bit. Kind of is what I would.
It did for a
I would
while.
say.
And we've been seeing a drop off for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, so the job security's not there.
So then those clients that are moving up, are they just professionals or just coming here? Or, I mean,
Yeah, professional, self-employed. I mean, markets. I was just saying the other day, it's weird, but it feels like the beginning of spring already.
yeah. Yeah.
The weather feels like spring, and the market. And so I don't
Yeah,
know
but I
if
just think
weather's
market
driving
wise.
that a little bit. Honestly, a lot of times
it definitely
people
plays a little
stay
bit.
inside because it's so cold and they don't want to go look at houses, and that's
there's
not
ice on the
that's
road?
not what it's been. Yeah, so maybe the
That's
weather
funny.
has influenced that a little bit, but rates are so good that
It's a big part
still.
of it too. Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. You're seeing more listings. I'm actually seeing a lot of listings pop up for January. It's kind of a surprising thing to me that I got a lot of calls on people wanting to list immediately. But what all of our numbers show us is that we are actually low on inventory still. and have been for a while. Last year had the makings from all these different angles of just this boom, but inventory was low. And that might have been that people were a little nervous to move or whatever the reasoning was for that. But inventory was just low. So if there were more houses on the market, I think we would have seen a bigger jump in our market. And so that's really what I saw. It was, I think, from NAR, the National Association of Realtors, was forecasting that new construction is going to be what booms this year. That's going to be what kind of drives it, just because in Oklahoma there's so many homes going up. There's brand new developments everywhere, from Edmond to Piedmont to
Yukon, Choctaw.
Yukon's booming. Mustang
Yeah.
is booming. I think Cashin is a new place that you'll see more and more going up.
Absolutely.
Cashin schools are good.
There's
And
a
so-
new Deer Creek development that I just got word on today, under 200 on 3/4 acre lots in Deer Creek schools.
Wow,
Really?
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the
Does
one
it have
thing.
a house?
Yeah.
Like
Fully
indoor
ordered.
plumbing, restrooms, all that?
No,
That's-
outdoor plumbing.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That's what I was gonna say. Is at least what I'm seeing in my market. If my clients are at about $140,000 to $160,000 price point, these homes are coming on the market and they're getting multiple offers within
yeah.
days.
It's because there's not enough of them. There needs to be more.
But these new builders aren't building in that price point.
No, I agree.
And so
New
you're talking
builders
about that builder in Deer Creek. That's awesome. Just
Yeah.
to see that it's still under the $200,000 price point and not above that. But like I said, I have a client now I've been working with in Alaska. I've written 6 contracts, offering asking price, asking for closing, that always gets us, and we lose every time. And that's what's happening right now. So I feel like we just need more affordable housing, and it'd be nice if builders would kind of build a little bit lower.
That's tough to build, though.
I know,
is. It
I
is,
know.
yeah.
There's very, very small margins, so you're putting in the same amount of work to make very little money. And so that means if you own a
And the
home,
land's so expensive.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
really
land
is.
is-
It's crazy.
Developer
Kind of. I think sometimes developers forget this is Oklahoma. We don't. It shouldn't be quite that expensive unless it's a prime piece of property. But
Yeah.
what that means is if you own a house that is worth between $150,000 and $200,000, you need to quit being selfish and you need to sell that home.
And you move up.
Go get something else.
No, the low inventory definitely drives both of what you're talking about. The multiple offers, it's really, really hard for buyers. But then the new construction is the only way to go. When inventory levels are low, you start going, okay, we're going to have to build a place.
And there's great benefits to
Sure.
new construction, but there are some downsides that you want to talk to a realtor about just to make sure before you buy that, are you making the right decision? For you, a lot of times new construction can be kind of tough with your clients
Yep.
because they're going to get those PCS, it's the professional change of services.
Yes.
And so they're going to have to move 18 months, 2 years, and that's tough to sell new construction that quickly. So you just want to make sure you're making the right decision when you're buying. But
Yeah.
so what do we say then? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? That's
I
what
think
people
it's a
always
hot
want to know.
market. It's a hot market. It really is a
It's a hot market.
right now.
I mean, I still think it's a seller's market overall.
Yeah.
Now you get into the upper price points, it's a little different story.
Yeah.
So what about
sub
300 up?
300? I think 300 up, it's probably a little more balanced, and then maybe. I mean, I haven't looked at stats that high in a while, but I bet anything over 5, you're getting more into a buyer's market. I would say 3 to 5 is probably balanced. What do you think?